365 days ago, I found this online coach making $5,000 per year. Fast forward to now, his coaching program reaches millions of people online and he's made over $500,000 in 1 year. He went from living in the hood to moving into his dream apartment. Not only is he able to take care of himself, but he provides for his entire family now and transforms thousands of lives through his high ticket offer. In this video, we share with you how he took his income from just a few $1,000s per year to over $500,000 in the 3 strategies that completely transformed his business. But only watch this if you want to make money, because I'm about to give you everything you need to 10x your coaching business. So sit back, take out a pen and paper, and let's dive in.
Today, we are going to be doing another hot seat and an opportunity for you to ask someone that's getting the results, exactly their experience, ask them questions. So it's going to be Sean over here is going to be talking, running the hot seat. I'm going to be on here with you guys as well. And we're going to be breaking down how, Sean, I think last month, or what was that stat? You spent like 2K and you've made like 40 or something. What was the numbers?
It was I spent 1,900 and I returned 45,000. That's now over 60,000. But that's because I upped my program price. And yeah, it was at 45,000, and since then, I've almost doubled, which is cool.
Shit. Well, congrats, man. We're gonna jump right into that. And I want you guys, really, if you're not getting these type of results, especially on ads, ask. That's why I'm bringing Sean on. But before I go into that with Sean, I do want to go over a couple updates. Just a quick reminder, next 15 days are going to be a little bit rocky with ads, kind of like, I'm going to mute you guys on here real quick. Cool. Yeah, if you're not speaking, please mute. Next 15 days, going to be a little rocky with ads. So I would suggest not scaling anything right now. I would wait until my game plan is wait until January 4th or 5th to really start upping the budget again. So kind of right now you want to have like a coast. I would not turn off ads completely just because you still want that coming through. But you got to kind of be honest with yourself on the finances side too, on what's working. We're scaling our ads starting January 4th, and we're going to be doing a big launch. We're going to be increasing our prices and giving away certain things that we're going to be removing certain things. So highly suggest, if you guys have not done it yet or have not planned or even looked into it yet, do a launch. Launches are one of the best ways, especially if you already have an audience. Easy cash flow coming through. So there's an entire 2 masterclasses on that inside the masterclass on how to do a launch. I think we did that literally just last Wednesday. So go check those replays if you haven't yet. Easy way to get some cash through the door. Next thing, last 2 things, have your numbers up to date. If you're having issues with setting, or if you're having issues with anything, if you don't have your numbers up to date, I can't help you out. I can give you decisions and ideas based off of my emotion, but the main thing that we're teaching you guys and what you walk away from this program is don't make decisions based off of emotion, make it based off logic. So update your numbers. If you're having issues setting appointments, make sure that you're going through the setter school. I was checking the stats for that, and there's a small percent of people that has actually gone more than 50% through that. So make sure, again, if you're not setting appointments, you're going through and you're doing the curriculum, you're learning this stuff too, because there's little things that we've learned throughout the years of doing this. So last thing, just going off the numbers, there is a direct correlation between the ones that are tracking their numbers consistently and implementing speed of implementation with the advice compared to the ones that aren't seeing the results. So update your numbers. I can't say it enough. KPIs should be your best friends moving forward. And speaking of that, I want to bring on Sean to kind of run a hot seat with me on here, because he has been updating his numbers. His KPIs have been on point, implementing. I think the biggest thing with Sean is he just implements right away. And that's where, we're going to be breaking down how he spent 1,900 on ads and collect and have over 40, 50, 60, something like that. So Sean, for everyone that doesn't know who you are, why don't you give a quick little intro, man?
Yeah, man. So like you said, my name's Sean. I am an options trader, and I have been for the last 5 years. And you know, the moment I wanted to start a coaching business, it originally started out as a course, like only. And so I was told, you know, I should be running a high ticket business as well. And so that was all in mid October when all of that was getting started. And I had just launched literally in October. And so, you know, I followed the launch, I followed everything and I hopped in AIA. And since then, made over $60,000 in the last like month and a half, which has been incredible. So I'm just here to help you guys out.
Good deal, man. Well, thank you for taking time out of your day to hop on here. We'll just jump into it. If you guys got questions, just put a Q in the chat and we'll bring you off mute, and then we'll go from there. Hot seat today is Sean and me, so feel free for either one. Jackson, we got you up next, man.
Yo, what's up? So I was curious, could you possibly show us like your ads? I'm curious how many ad sets that came from. Like, is that like, can you walk me through like your process of like launching your first ad, and then how quick you started seeing success, and like what your kind of process was with that?
Yeah, I got you. I'm on a Mac right now, and this is the first time I've used a Mac in a long time. So let me see this.
Yeah, I know you're used to that trading setup where you got like
Yeah,
the
dude. Yeah,
monitors.
I'm on a MacBook in Tokyo right now, so I'm having to get accustomed to everything.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go ahead and see if I can share my screen. Sounds like Jackson's in a wind tunnel. All right, cool. Let me know if you guys can see it. This thing is huge.
Yeah, we can see Amazon.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, oh
Getting
yeah.
some insider trades over here.
There's not two screens anymore. That's awkward. All right. Sweet. Here we go. So I have had a little bit over like 14 ad sets so far. What I ended up doing was I tested 10 ad sets originally, and I found the 5 that were working the best. What happened was a lot of these were good. If I move over this, a lot of these were good. You can see that the cost per result was $9. This cost per result was $4. But like a lot of you guys are having, you know, issues with these sort of things, some of them were just absolutely dead broke. So regardless of the low ad spend or the low cost per result, I ended up cutting it anyways. And like this one here, for example, had a $3 cost per result, but it was just, I mean, it was horrible. And so I cut all of those and left the ones that came with the highest quality people. So even though these are, you know, $10 cost per result, I left the highest quality people at the end. And I'm actually testing this new one right here, which is software engineers, because like I said, I'm trying to get rid of the whole broke people.
No brokies.
Yeah. So this is what it looks like in my ads manager. And this is all still phase 1. Like what's crazy is like I'm still in phase 1. I'm not I'm not even
How
at
many
like
campaigns did it take to? Is this your first campaign you launched?
yeah, this is the
Yeah.
very first campaign I launched. You can see right here, I'm showing maximum results. So I've spent around 3K in total. And then I'm hitting about $8 cost per result in total with the entire campaign, and about 400 messages. So
Now, I was curious from Justin's perspective, how often do you find that first campaign you find a winner?
From my perspective on that, I mean, it really kind of just, the way I look at it is like, I classify a winner as something where it's gotten me a close rather than like a cost per a message being sent, because, you know, like what Sean was saying on there is like you have, and I applaud you, Sean, for like recognizing that. I know we've talked about that a little bit, but like going in there and realizing, okay, well, these were $3 combos, and then you get some that are 3 times the cost, but they're higher quality, and you're willing to scale that. That's the groundwork I look at, is like first optimizing to make sure you can get messages, and then second would be optimizing to make sure you're getting quality, and then third optimizing to make sure that you get a close from there. So to answer your question with that, it's different with every industry. I know for me, it was like after 3 different campaigns I tested, we found one that was just like consistent. Sometimes it hits right away, kind of like in Sean's case, but sometimes it's like, that's what I always say is like, you always got to be testing and like kind of being a nerd in here to really see like what's bringing it in. I think the other thing that would be really cool if you wouldn't mind sharing, Sean, and feel free if you want to say no to anything, that's perfectly fine. But I think your ads are like really good, like the quality behind it. Would you mind would you mind sharing like kind of what that looks like?
Um, I can try my best. My actual files are not on this computer, but I can try to pull it up on Instagram and see
If you want to
um
you could just show like a preview, just like to show what it looks like, because
yeah,
I think
yeah, I got
that's the one thing that Sean does a really good job of compared to what I've seen with some other people that aren't seeing amazing results right away, is his quality of his ad is just like, you can tell is like time went into it.
Yeah, so just to let you guys know, I was a video editor for a few years before I did this. And so I did that for a long time, and it helped me with, building these ads a little bit better than just like normal. So these are what my ads typically look like. They're just me sitting in front of the camera. But they have a lot of text in here, and they have things that keep the person engaged, because no matter what happens, um I'm pretty sure like Jackson can tell you in terms of short form content, we have the brains the size of like this, and so we just want to see moving pictures. That's what we want to see. So a lot of you guys, if you're just sitting in front of the camera and you're like, join my program, blah 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 blah, and people are going to get bored really fast. And so you got to make sure that when you're doing this, you have to have text coming up, pictures coming up, things like moving all the time so that they can keep themselves engaged. Because like I said, we have, goldfish size brains.
Yeah, I was gonna say goldfish is probably a pretty accurate statement with that. Ever since TikTok, it's really gone downhill. But like you guys, like I think that was a really good point, because ads are, even with a great ad like this, he was still having some like bad quality leads coming through. And again, that's kind of like the testing side of things. And it's like just like the a way, the approach to go through here and just like test and get yourself out there and like show like different screens of other things you're doing. We don't even do that, but it's something like, even after watching Sean's, is like, we're gonna probably test something like that out. So test. I really like the way that those ads look, man.
Can I ask a quick question real quick? I
Go
just
for it.
popped in my head. Sean, when you're doing this, twofold, are you recording them on your phone or your camera? And then the second part to that question is, I've noticed when I'm trying to record videos, and Justin, you might know about this too, and then trying to send it back and forth between my computer to edit and back to my phone to do captions. When you're downloading it, it keeps compressing, so the quality is going to get bad by the time I actually upload it as an ad.
Use InShot on your phone. You can edit that straight on your phone. It's not that big of a file. You can get InShot. It's like $3 a year, and you can just edit it straight on your phone.
What I would recommend to do instead is just hire an editor. I record everything on a Sony A6400, and I have that directly connected to my PC. So the moment I hit stop recording, it uploads as a file in my PC, and then I throw it straight into Adobe Premiere from there. So if you are recording on a nice camera, keep that quality. That quality is going to be the most important thing, because people want to see quality. They don't want to see compressed and it looks nasty, because on Instagram they even compress it on there too.
It's freaking.
So yeah, try your hardest to keep original quality as much as you can. So what I do is I have an Elgato screen link. And so what it does is you just like plug it into the camera, and then it'll show up my camera on OBS, and I just hit record on OBS and record it that way. I was a Twitch streamer as well, so it helps a lot to like know a little bit about like how the cameras are, directing between the two.
Yeah, I agree.
And then what was the second question?
So you answered it in that question, was, are you recording it on your phone or a camera? So
yeah, I think the phone ones can be pretty like transparent looking. I think they can still, work really well. But a lot of the times that I've seen, people that I'm like, oh, what's this program about? It tends to be people that are like being recorded with an entire camera.
Yeah. Yeah. So like point being is you just got to figure out what works. And I think the real easy solution for that is if you're not good at editing, hire an editor to do it. Like that one ad I keep referring to you guys on. I still have multiple other ones running, but that one of me with the hat on, it was recorded literally off my iPhone, and all I did was just have somebody edit it. And I know Ecom Woody put somebody in the group chat. Tom would be Sean. You're still on your. You're still
Oh,
on
geez.
I know how it is
I,
with the two
I'm not
screen.
used to it, dude. I'm not used to the whole like one screen only
I
thing. Oh
know
my
it's always
God.
multitasking, but Ecom Woody, shout out to Ecom. He put somebody in there called his name's Tom, which I would highly suggest you guys all go hit that up. The pricing on that was phenomenal. And I've seen the work he's done and it looks pretty solid. So I would definitely try it out for sure.
Yeah, Kenneth, I would say hire an editor. That would be because on top of that, I think the whole Alex Hermosi captions thing is starting to get a little bit overused.
Yeah.
So if you are using the same style, I don't know if you are, but if you are using the same style, a lot of people can start to think of that as like a little, guru-y. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I've seen that. I've seen people comment that on other people's like, oh, you're just an Alex Hermosi, blah blah blah. And I don't know. I think that might start to get a little bit overdone. So that's why my captions just are captions. They kind of just look normal.
Appreciate it.
We got Jay up next.
You kind of answered my question as you all were talking, but I guess I'll just ask, what was the price point that you were selling at when you got to the 60K?
Okay, so I'll just break it down from the beginning. So originally it was 2,000 for my first program, and that was the launch. So what happened was I was launching it to all of my like Instagram followers, and I launched it at the price point of 2,000 or 1,500. The very beginning was 1,500, and then 2,000 was the main program. I saw 45,000 from there, and then the moment I added like a higher tier package above my 2,000, which was 5,000. That's when I think I got like 3 clients and immediately saw way more money, because 3 clients at 2K is 6K, and I ended up 16,000 from that. And yeah, it was the moment I moved it to 5,000 was when I like boosted sales incredibly. And that's only by having 3 students in the month of December. So if you up it to, 5,000, 3,000, something along that line, instead of having it at 1,500, you'll just see like exponential results, even if you're getting lower amounts of students.
Yeah. And you the only difference in the offer is that you added an extra live call, or how many live calls do you have?
So my program has, I kid you not, straight up ripped AIA structure. So I have 2 live calls a week. I don't have the Friday call just because I don't want to work that much. But I have 2 live calls a week. It's going to be a Q&A and a master class. And then for the 5,000 package, I just extended the time that they're in the program. So I had a 16-week program, and then this is going to be a year program that is 5,000. So it doesn't increase any work on my end because I'm already giving these master classes and Q&As. And then another thing that I did as well is I added a tier below on top of that as well, which was doing things that I'm already doing anyways. So for example, Justin is doing like the setting school and stuff like that. So what he can do is he could run an entire program that's just about the setting school, and then people could come in and only have access to that because he's already doing it. So that's what I ended up doing as well. And those 2 things helped me hit 60,000 pretty quickly.
For sure. Thank you. Appreciate it. And also Tom is good. The guy Woody talked about, I hired him already. He's super fast with everything. He's dope. He's super dope. So yeah, he's good.
Nice. Good shit. And then going just a little note on with Sean's offer too. Notice how like he didn't just come out the bat and just start selling at 5K right away. He went to 2K and maxed it out at X amount of people and then bumped up the prices. So again, I want to point that out there is like, if you don't have experience selling a 5K program, you don't want to go from 0 to 5K, right? You want to go from like, you want to take a little half step there. And same thing with us, like full transparency. When I first started AIA, the first 5 people I got in for, I think it was like 4,500, I think is what it was. And starting 2023, we're going to be selling it for 10K. So it's like, there's steps to it. And it's like, you just got to test the market to see where it's at. So keep that in mind.
But just real quick, I was gonna say, like, for a 5K offer, are you guys still using just Stripe, or are you making them do a wire?
Stripe.
Okay.
Reason being is wires have a little bit more of resistance, like saying, hey, sign up your bank account information or send me a wire, because one, it takes longer to get through. And if you have someone that's just going to sign an agreement and then send a wire, it's like a 50-50 chance at that point. So that's why we always say Stripe. But what you could do if you really want to do the wire is have them put money down and send the rest through wire. But I'd say unless you're doing something where, I mean, to be honest, I'll be fully transparent with you guys. We're looking at having like a higher ticket program. It's not built out or anything, but it's in the vision of where we're going to be going with this. And I was talking to some of my friends that I actually just got off a call with one of my friends that his offer is $42,000 and none of it's wires, all of it's through Stripe. So,
wow.
Yeah, you can keep that. Obviously, you're going to pay fees, but sometimes it's like, you know, if they want to do a wire, tell them, be like, yeah, that's fine, but like put some money down first.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
What's the downside of Stripe?
Downplay?
What's the downside? Yeah, why wouldn't you go with Stripe? Because of the fees?
Couple of reasons. One would be the fees. The more money you get, the more you pay. I mean, I pay them thousands a month for nothing, to process basically through them, which I'm perfectly fine with doing that. But the real downfall is when you have clients that, and this is inevitable as you grow your business, you'll have people that enroll in your program and then they just don't do anything. And then they're like, well, this doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. And then they come back and like, they dispute their credit card payment and things like that. And like, it essentially hurts the credit you're processing. So like, if you get too many disputes, your processing account, they can shut you down. I wouldn't worry about that right now. As long as you have a good product, like you'll be fine, but like it's inevitable. It's a numbers game. It's always something that always happens in any sort of business, but really the downfall is disputes. And then because they're hard to win with Stripe, and then also the processing fee.
And I'm using Stripe as well. So
Yeah.
I have Stripe entirely for a 5K offer as well.
Yeah. You guys should all use Stripe if you can, for sure. Okay, Nacho, we got you up next, man.
Can I ask one question about the 5K offer, Sean?
Yo,
So are you accepting that payment all at once, or is it broken up over monthly?
I would love to do it all at once, but a lot of my clients are just in the ghetto, in the trenches, so I have to break it up as much as I can to help people out.
How can you break it up? Is it 1,000 per month, 500 per month?
It'll be 1,000 per month, and I make sure that no matter what, I collect that on the call. So I make sure I collect 1,000 on the call, and then a lot of the times people make it 3 months in and then stop paying, and I know a lot of people have that issue as well. But as long as you're collecting $1,000 on the call, I'm fine with it.
Right. Justin, would you say that are there any like strategies to where you could, possibly get more of the payment up front, like 2,000, 3,000? Like how do you kind of gauge when to charge more up front and when to charge? Yeah.
For sure. Great question, man. So the way I personally like to do it is if I'm on a call with someone and I'm like, hey, you're a good fit. Let's are you open to moving forward with AIA? And like, yeah. And then I say, okay, cool. So our price is, I always like to price anchor. I'm like, I price anchor it at 10K. And then I expect an objection from there. And they're like, okay, well, I don't want to pay 10K, be like, cool. Well, we do have an incentive if you make a decision on the spot. And if you make a decision on the spot, I'll drop off $2,000 and get you in for 8K. You know, get a little bit endorphins up there saying, hey, I'm giving you a deal to make a decision today. Like, cool. I mean, the problem is I just can't afford 8K. Okay, cool. So what I say is, are you open to having a open-ended conversation about finances? Like, get them to give permission first and be like, yeah. And be like, okay, cool, Rob. So how much money did you make in the past 30 days? You give me a number and then be like, cool. Well, if that's still not a good number, I'd be like, cool. Well, what's actually in your bank account right now? Like, how much money do you actually have? Because, and again, sometimes people are like, well, I don't want to ask that because people are going to get a little weird about it. It's like, well, if I want to help you make more money, I got to know where you're at. Right. And that's like the first way I go about it, is like saying, well, how much money do you actually have? And I'll get down to the nitty gritty on it. They're like, well, I only have $8,000. I'd be like, all right, well, you said you really want to do this. Talk to me. What's a payment plan option that would work for you? And then I get them to give me a payment plan option. And if it's something that makes sense for me and I can tell they're genuine about it, kind of got to use your best judgment on it, I'll roll with it. You know, and from there, you always want to collect more cash up front just because it's good for the business, but it's always good to have that reoccurring coming through too, because business isn't always going to be a straight uphill. And that's what I think Sean was saying earlier, is like the reoccurring sometimes it's money just to have that, because it's very helpful.
Yeah, man, let me tell you, this month, I have collected 15,000 in revenue, and it's only been 3,000 in cash, which last month, collected over 15,000 in cash. And so this month is only 3,000 in cash collected in terms of like on sales calls. But the actual win is 100% the reoccurring revenue. I mean, I'm still getting paid that 15,000 from last month again this month, and then another 3K on top of that. So I'm about to hit 20,000 cash collected, which is the first time I've done that.
You guys do excuse me, do you guys do contracts too, or is that something that you kind of pick and choose?
What kind of program do you run?
I'm running kind of a branding.
So I would say if there's anything that you can fulfill, I would 100% have a contract. So if you are doing anything that has, a service or anything that has any type of work between you and another person, which might be everybody on this call, I would 100% do a contract, just because disputes happen. And anytime a dispute happens, you want to make sure you have just incredible amounts of proof to back that up, so that you're not getting screwed later on in the run. I know a lot of people have.
Contract will help in dispute cases or in situations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because one of the most important things that you need in terms of a dispute is a signature. So if you can get their signature on there, and then you can also text them and say, hey, like, you just processed a dispute. And if they say, oh, no, I didn't, or it was an accident, you have two forms of communication right there, and you'll win the dispute pretty much every time.
Here's the other thing that's good about the contracts, depending on, naturally how far you want to take it. We have it built inside with like our in-house team with like the finance back end. But if someone disputes something from us and we make sure everyone has an agreement, I would suggest everybody has a contract, because that's what triggers everything for us. Like, you can't get an AIA unless you sign your contract. And if any of that ever were to happen, like, we have a back-end finance team that'll send them to collections. And with the collections, what they require is that you have some sort of agreement. And the collections is basically just a way of like, if you can't collect the money from someone that said they're going to pay you the money and you fulfill it on your end, that they will go out there and they will collect the money. And then you give them a set percentage of it. It's usually like the last side of ways you want to go about it, but it is part of the process of like when you bring on more people over and over again. Does that answer your question, Rob?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just like, I just got to go get a contract made then, right? Or do you guys provide anything like that?
Yeah, there's a template inside AIA. Sean, did you use ours or do you have your own?
Bro, you already know, I stole yours. And
you didn't steal it, dude. Like, you paid for it. Like, that's why they're there.
Yeah, of course. I just say stole as in quite literally ripped it and changed everything into my words. I did that with the entire business. I was like, okay, I have my business, what I actually do, and then I have your format of how you do it. And it was, I mean, it's so seamless. That's
Yeah.
why everything worked so easily, is because I didn't have to build out an entire program that I had no idea how to build. What I did was I took a successful program already and then kind of molded it around what mine is, and then made it successful, which it'll happen, it'll just happen if you do that.
I really want you guys to think about that, because a lot of times people come in, they're like, well, I just want to do the ad strategy. I just want to do this. It's like, Sean literally just told you the secret sauce of what it is. He just modeled off of exactly what we're doing. So I'm glad that you're doing that, man. And like, everybody, please do that. That's why we have it the way that is. Like, we documented all of it. We put it all out there so you can literally just take what we have and just take it for your own business model.
Yeah. I mean, Justin, how much are you guys making per month, if you don't mind me asking?
We're doing around 100, and it ranges between 120, 150.
So if you're doing 120, 150, and all of us are not doing 120, 150, then we should probably be doing something that you are. So that's why I went ahead and did that. I mean, if you're doing 150, I want to do 150. So just,
yeah, I mean,
you do.
That's the same way I go about things, man. That's why I paid this guy $30,000 to teach me how to get up to $250,000 a month. So it's like, just model off of what they're doing. And naturally, you guys get a lot of that information that I'm getting here. So I think Sean said it right on the spot, is just model off of what we're doing. Like, I don't care if you have to copy it, just put your own shit in there. Like, that's literally what it's for, So kudos to you, man. Nacho, we got you up next, man.
What's up? What's up? I have two questions. First, congrats, Sean. I've been checking your wins that you're sharing all the time, and it's really motivating. So you're crushing it. So that's really good to see that some of us are crushing it, but some of you guys are crushing it. Some not yet, but we'll be there. First question is like audiences. As I've been running ads for 1.5 months or 2 months, I'm still struggling with audiences, with Facebook audiences, because even though we put Asana, Trello, Robert Kayaski, whatever, I don't see a correlation on people coming and saying like, oh yeah, this clearly has the profile of an entrepreneur, of a business owner. Do you see, you guys both see also like a small correlation in terms of audiences, or do you really see that they're consistent with that kind of audience that you did? Not the demographics, of course. If it's a man or woman or the age, then it's easier. But I'm still struggling to have consistency between audiences and the actual audience that is coming through the DMs.
I notice a small correlation. It's, I think Justin has said it before, you can run an open audience and see pretty much the same people. So it's kind of, there is a correlation. I run a software engineer audience, and I also run a trading, just like day trading as an audience, and both of them pull the exact same audience. But one of them has like a couple little gems every once in a while that are like, oh, hey, I'm a software engineer. And then those are the people that have the money. And so what I would say is, if you're going to branch out into audiences, I find that like entrepreneur doesn't really work very well. But if you target certain jobs and you're targeting like engineers or you're targeting lawyers, they tend to come out a little bit more, because they actually went into like Facebook and said, my career is this, rather than like entrepreneur. Everybody says they're an entrepreneur, whether they're making money or not.
It's true.
Everyone's an entrepreneur out of the womb nowadays, man.
Yeah, I've been an entrepreneur since I was like 6th grade, and I wasn't making much money until now. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I think the other thing, like with the testing too, is I really like Sean's approach with the ad side of things, because to be honest with you, we're not even doing that right now. And something that I'll test going into the new year is like the short form video of, it's a video like him speaking at first, but then going in the screen of showing something. So obviously trading's different than everybody else, but use like your best judgment with that. Like Ecom Woody could show, maybe, I don't know how well you can get away with it, but like Amazon profits or something on Amazon. I know you actually do that actually. And I saw your ad the other day pop up. I was like, damn, it's a pretty fucking good ad. So it's like, show like your face, show you're a real person, like show a little bit of like what you can help people out with and some results if you can.
Yeah, the most like literally number one advice for creating any video, show don't tell at all times. So if you're saying I can do this, number one thing is to show that it's happening. If I show, hey, I can show you how to trade, and then I'm showing you that I know how to trade, it gives you a little bit more reassurance. So the only reason why I know that is just because I've done YouTube for a few years now, and I have a little over 10,000 subscribers right now. And you know, the moment I started making videos that popped off was because of the fact that there wasn't a single waking second where I was just standing still telling you what I'm doing. If you say I can do this, like for example, I know that there's a guy that does like breath work and meditation on here. If you show like just videos of like, you know, you feeling good, I don't know, of you doing the actual like meditation and stuff, that gives people like a certain, you know, in their brain, they're like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. It helps a ton.
Sure. Yeah, Ecom, what are you up next?
Hey, what's going on? I know I was DMing you and Josh earlier about this, but I was hoping we could go more into the team side of things, because I'm really trying to grow my team right now, and just keeping track of KPIs. So I'm tracking everyone's data every day, my appointment setters, my closers, but how can I separate people off while keeping it together overall in the business, just from the master tracker? You know, I'm going to play around with it myself, and I know you have the advanced software, but you know, I'm just trying to figure out the best way to do that.
Yeah, man. I mean, the short answer for that is like, first things first, you want to make sure you're tracking the overall company, right? Like that's the first thing you got to be looking at. And then from there, you go into the weeds of it, which would be like the individual people. And with them, it's with your appointment setters, and anyone that's setting appointments, you want to make sure that they're tracking their stuff at the end of each day. So like, so you know, like for us, we have an end of day form that they fill out, and then it populates inside Slack and tells us what they did, right? But like the easy way about that would be just look at, okay, so let's say you have two other closers and then yourself, right? The way that you would look at that is at the end of the month, you'd look at the two closers. All right, closer A had 50 calls and he's closed 5 calls, right? And then closer B had 25 calls and you closed 1 call. So then you would just look at the percentage and you just do the math based off of where they're at to make an educated decision on that. And if you wanted to, you could probably add like a separate column maybe on there for like who closed the deal or something like that. That's the way that I would essentially go about it.
Hey Woody, are you using macros and apps inside the Google Sheets?
No, what do you mean by that?
So there are specific like macros that you can record on the Google Sheets, so that every time you're like, let's say I know you have a setter and a closer as well. So anytime my like closer, or sorry, anytime that somebody comes onto a call, I just press a button and it updates everything for me on my Google Sheets. And then for my master tracker, my actual master tracker, I use an app that grabs all the data from my Facebook ads, shoots it into an Excel spreadsheet, and then I link that Excel spreadsheet to the master tracker I have, and it updates all the numbers automatically.
You might have to like create a video.
Yeah, what the hell? You got to show us how to do that shit.
Wait.
I think we're all thinking that. We're like, hold on, what?
Yeah, I can break that down. I definitely don't know if I can break that down here, because
if you could create like a Loom video just breaking that down, that would be money. Because I see what you're saying, but like I think it's a little bit, I've never done it. I think it's a little bit advanced, but I think that'd probably help a lot.
Yeah, if I tried to break that down for you guys right now, it would take a very long time. It took me a long time to figure it out myself, so I can create a video for it for you guys.
Awesome.
Yeah. There's so many different things that you can do. I was a programmer as well, so I've been a programmer since I was 12 years old, and I, learned how to program in multiple languages, and I went to school for computer science. So I I know how to build programs and actually do things that allow me to not touch anything. So now I have programs that take data from Facebook ads that goes into here, that goes in here, and I could create something for you guys as well if you guys would want that.
Yeah,
Boy,
that'd be
come
money,
on.
dude.
Like a one in the chat if you
Fucking A.
What? How many ones do you want? How many ones do you want?
yeah, one in the
Got a
chat
lot
if
of
you
ones,
want
bro?
an automated master tracker. I can
Fucking A.
yeah, I can work on that for you guys because I mean it's not very difficult. You just have to have something that links between Facebook ads and your master tracker.
Are you using Supermetrics by chance? Is that what you're using? Or something?
No,
Oh.
no, I'll have to figure out exactly which app that I'm using for it, but one of the ones that I'm working on right now are custom. So I'm programming it with a friend of mine that we're both programmers.
Man, have you ever seen the movie Catch Me If You Can?
I
Yeah.
have. I love that movie. That's my favorite movie of all time.
Well, you're kind of like that guy, man. You got like
Yeah.
all these
Dude, that's
back-end
my
jobs you've
favorite.
done.
Yeah, man. That's my favorite movie of all time. My favorite actor is Leo, bro. I love him.
Yeah,
Love him.
Leo is the man. You guys should all watch that movie if you haven't yet.
Fire.
All right. Who else? Woody, you got any other questions on that, bro? Or that help?
Yeah, I mean, I just got to keep playing around with my master tracker. I mean, I've added a lot to it already, but I think I'm just going to have an internal month-to-month closer tracker inside of the master tracker, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
separated that. I
the-
separate.
Yeah, the KPIs for me for the appointment setter, it's like I just want them in their head every day because I have the form for both of them every day. How many messages did you send? How many follow-ups? How many book calls? But I guess those metrics don't matter as much as long as they're bringing quality people onto every call. It's more so just the close rate of my closers,
Well, you definitely want to make sure you're tracking your book calls and like who's getting them, because if you ever here's a perfect example. Going into the best timing, going into Thanksgiving, we had our highest cost per everything. I mean, like 5x everything. It was insane. And it's not something you can run a business off of. Luckily, like John, we have a lot of reoccurring coming through, so it was fine. But I looked at the numbers to figure out what the details were, and I reverse engineered to figure out, okay, this is right when we brought on our new setter who was taking over a majority of the conversations, and his KPIs were way out of control. So you want to make sure you're still on top of that. And I think like we're working on more of like a team style master tracker going into the new year. So when that's released, I'll definitely let you know about that. But what I'd say in the meantime, and what I did to just get good at like sheets, is just whenever you're doing something, like duplicate it and then use a sheet to kind of fuck around with. And once you find out what really works, and put it on your main sheet.
Yeah, that's what I've been. Yeah, I just I'll figure it out. It's just the appointments that are KPIs. Like, what are we actually tracking with them? You know what I mean? It's like obviously book calls, but and I'm tracking overall. Say that again.
You want to add meaningful conversations in there with that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I tell you what's on my setter? My
go
setter.
for it.
All right, let me pull this up real quick. I got an Ethernet cable over here, so I'm going pretty fast. Let me see if I can find him. So on my trackers, we've got a setting tracker right here for my setter. I take messages, qualified messages, the ones that aren't the ones that are unqualified, the requested, booked, and booked. Those are the categories that I have for the tracker, and it follows the same structure as the AIA tracker. I just copied like half of it, and I took off the ads portion of the other half, and then I just retitled the stuff, so it looks pretty similar. And so that does help track, because if you see how many qualified messages he gets, then the booking, I went ahead and divided the I divided the amount booked by the qualified. So that actually helps a lot in terms of, how many appointments is he really getting based on the important people.
Okay, so you're doing calls booked divided by qualified leads, basically?
Yeah, so I have
Okay.
I have multiple stats on there. So my first stat is going to be overall calls booked based on messages, and then my
Yeah.
second stat is going to be overall calls booked based on qualified leads. Because you've been a setter and I've been a setter before. You didn't close maybe 100 leads at a time just because they were all extremely unqualified. So I like to not pay attention to those as much. I know I should be, but I don't, just because I look at the numbers of, okay, the guys that say, hey, I've got $3,000 a month. If they can get on a booked call, that's all that I care about. I could care less about the people who are like, I'm a rapper from, Chicago. It's tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah, yeah, for everyone in here too, I had a really long conversation with my appointment setters, and I was like, look, guys, we need to really make sure we're qualifying the hell out of these people before we even send them an application to book a call. And even in the past week, my quality, like everyone showing up, we've had a packed calendar every single day, and almost every lead like has money, as a normal person. And I'm just telling my guys, look, if you see he's a rapper or whatever, swipe left and hit delete. Swipe left and hit delete. I don't even care. I'd rather have you guys talking to 10 people versus 100, and 90 of them are unqualified and the 10 are actually qualified, and you're having a meaningful conversation with them that leads to a book call. So that's the one area that I'm really trying to refine, so that like every single book call is like a qualified good lead that we have a good chance of closing.
So what I would say is, you could do that, but also remember that like a lot of people are sleepers. Like a lot of people do
Yeah.
just have money for some reason. And like they look broke, they sound broke, but like one of my clients that like just signed up for my lifetime program, which was 7,500. He's like doesn't have any money. I don't know how he's doing it, but he's paying me monthly. So there are some times, but most of the times, no, it'll be horrible.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're asking how much money do you make per month? What do you do as a job? If they're making $8 an hour working at Wendy's, I don't care. I'm not getting on a call with you. You know what I mean? Even if maybe you have 10 grand saved up, I don't know. But like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Make a low ticket program for that, like just something that you can throw to somebody if they're poor. That's what my setter, anytime someone says, I only have X amount and that X amount's just significantly lower, I made so essentially what I do is I teach people how to trade, and then I also have a lower tier, which is going to be signals, and I give signals to my higher tier anyways. So my signals cost $100 per month. And if people want to do that, I mean, it's like a gym membership. People just forget. So you're getting paid an extra $100 a month, and it didn't waste any time on your end. That's something that could help you a little bit with like more revenue just for fun.
Yeah, I'm just so focused on one offer right now. It's not even worth it for me to have a lower ticket offer, because we're raising price to 5K in the new year. So it's
Woody,
just,
I
I
think for
just want to
yours,
dial that in.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
for yours, dial in what you have. Same with
Yeah.
us. Trading's a little bit different. So like I think Sean,
Yeah.
it makes really good sense, like the signals for sure.
Yeah.
But I think with yours, like
It's like I can't give like an Amazon tip once a day and charge, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's
I
it's
was
a
gonna say like if you were, let's say you were doing done for use, but those are really expensive. You can't do that as low ticket anyways, unless you're doing like a template and then like you low ticket template somebody's store, and then you just like can do that 100 times and give somebody a store that's templated, which actually sounds kind of fire.
yeah, it's a little complicated with Amazon, but yeah. All right.
does
I
that answer your question, bro?
Yeah, I gotta play around with my sheet. I mean, my master tracker looks good, but I need to dial in my individual team member KPIs and like really get that dialed. So
Yeah. Good shit. Cool. Um Isaiah got you up next, I believe.
Yeah, sorry, I think I threw a 1 in the chat, but didn't necessarily have a question.
Oh, maybe it's a 1. Was that a 1 or a Q? Oh, that was a 1. My bad. I'm sorry.
All good.
There's a lot of messages there. I'm trying to go through the Qs.
That's my bad. I got
Oh,
everybody hyped. That's on me.
It's like I see 36 messages in my shit. Which one? All right, Jay, I think you're up next.
Yeah, all right, cool. So a few questions. From I think Econ Woody kind of said it, but for I guess you as well, Sean, like the questions you guys asked to make sure they're qualified before they call. Because for us, what we do, we have a job form, and then we have literally like how much like are you willing to invest in yourself, and then based on that number, it redirects them. Like if they have a payment where we don't offer, it redirects them to a like a lower ticket, like our old course that we had. That's how we do it. But I liked what you said, like you do it in the DMs before you send the applications. So what questions do you all ask for that? Is it just like how much you make per month?
Yeah, I can show you my exact conversation that my setter uses on every single one. It's similar to, I just have a DM script, and basically what I gave that to my guys, and all they do is just follow it. So let me see if I can share my screen so you can see exactly which questions, because I don't know off the top of my head.
Mhm.
Go, and there we go. Hold up. And so, guys, super being like organized is awesome. Being organized is my favorite thing in this because, dude, there's so much shit that like you just don't use at all, and then you got to figure out like where everything goes. All right, so essentially what happens is I, start off like a normal basic conversation, and then I ask how much money they're looking to make per month. This is an important thing. If you, I don't know what business you run, but Woody, for example, if someone says like, I want a Lamborghini like tomorrow or something like that, he can tell right away, like, okay, this guy's just in for a quick get rich quick, and he's going to go ahead and, dispute or something when he gets in here because he's not satisfied with making money in 2 seconds. So really important question, because they could say like, I want 100K next week. And like,
Yeah.
regardless if they're qualified or not, it sucks to have to deal with some of those people.
Yeah.
So this is one of the most important areas. I'll say something along the lines of this, that's completely doable. And then my question's gone, but it said something along the lines of, are you looking to make this your full-time job or a side hustle? And I don't know why I deleted, but they say, okay, if they say side hustle, I have a answer here. And then if they say like their job, I want to say, an answer here. And so I say like, okay, how much are you making per month at that at your job right now? And so this is the qualifying question. We try to make this DM script as short as possible. So
Yeah.
if they say, oh yeah, I'm making about like, $4,000 a month, I'm like, sweet, we can definitely get you to replace that income with options trading if you learn the systems that we've implemented for you. And then how about this? Let's schedule a free strategy session. And that typically, I mean, I actually, it's super short, literally like less than a page and a half. And, people like short conversations. They don't want to talk for very long.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, brother. That's cool. That's great. And then the other question I had, either you or Justin, like, what do you all do when you have someone on payment plan? So I'm going to create agreement after this. I haven't got to that part of the program yet. I just joined a few weeks ago. But what do you do if, let's say, since I don't have an agreement and you have people on payment plans and they haven't paid you, and then they also like ghosted you, like you contact them, you try calling them, and then they just ghost you. Like, what do you do then?
How are you collecting payment? Are you sending them a payment link every single time?
Yeah, so Stripe. So one of so before I came here, we had a big launch and we did a live webinar. So that's what I'm talking about there. And then we're doing some sales calls as well too. We're just collecting all the leads from the webinar before who didn't buy. And we're getting a lot of people buying from there. So, but there's people from the past who just haven't finished their payments.
Yeah, so in Stripe, I would recommend going in and trying to charge their card. Because you can just go in and like hit create payment and then pay on their card for them. But that's only if you're on a contract. That's the thing. So if you're not on a contract, they'll dispute and say this never happened. Like I didn't agree to anything. So you technically have to just continue asking.
Yeah.
Legally, you can't just go and charge their card unless you have like a so for example, both of our agreements, me and Justin, we have something along the lines of I agree to pay X amount to Solano Media or Saunders LLC. And then like that right there, that one statement means that no matter what, like I can charge just because like you agreed to pay this to me. So, but that agreement helps a lot in terms of that.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah, the agreement's huge. The other thing to keep in mind, I put this up for you. You guys see my Stripe screen over here? Whenever you create a payment, like a subscription for anyone, you got to make sure you click advanced options and click save payment details for future use. See how there's a difference right there when someone clicks that. It's technically saying like they confirm, but that's just something that Stripe used to have but took out, but I think they're bringing it back. I'm not sure. So make sure you do that. And then also the other thing, as Sean says, like, yeah, like moving forward, get everybody on payment, get everybody on an agreement like signed. Anyone that's followed up, it's kind of hard because you can't be like, well, you signed a piece of paper, you're saying you could do this. But you know, like I'd say moving forward, 100% do that for everybody.
That contract saved my ass, and it's also made me, you know, a couple extra $1,000 just because someone's like, I want to cancel. And I'm like, well, in the, you know, in the contract, it says that you have to pay an extra month before you cancel. And so it's in there and they sign it. And so I just collect an extra month of $1,000, which is, you know, a nice flight to somewhere.
And in the contract as well too, do you also make it clear? Do you also put there's no refunds? So for that, so that cannot happen as well when people say they want to cancel?
Yeah, so I have a cancellation policy and not a refund policy. So you can do either or. I don't like refunds because I like money. And if you like money, I wouldn't recommend doing refunds. A guarantee is nice to have, but you don't I wouldn't still do a refund in terms of the guarantee either. But what I do is instead of a refund, I say if you don't like it, tell me and we can just flat out cancel the contract after your next month's payment. So they'll say, okay, I want to cancel. And then I'm like, okay, cool. You have access till this date. And then I have a program that automatically kicks them out from the program afterwards. So basically I just get an extra month of payment and they, you know, get an extra month of the service.
And I know, Sean, you said that you had like a program for 16 weeks and then one for a year and then one like lifetime. With that, like, are you just putting that inside like the spreadsheet to track everyone's like time limit, and then when that time limit is up, you either like cancel them or like they automatically repay, or you have to call them again, or how's that set up?
Yeah, dude, this is the most ghetto setup, but I can show you a little bit of what happens. Oh, someone just made some money. Hell yeah. Okay, hold on one second. Sorry, I was looking at my students, seeing what was happening. Okay, let me find this. Jeez, dude, this is intense on one little laptop. Let me tell you.
One screen is not doable, bro. I don't know how people do it.
Dude, one screen is insane. I'm here for vacation, man. Okay, so essentially, this is how I track every student, and so it looks real ghetto, but you know, I like it because right now I'm only dealing with 30 students. If I was dealing with, you know, 85 or 100, I'd have to do something else, and I will later on in the future for sure. But I can see every single, you know, person's payments and what they're going for and exactly what's happening. This isn't updated all the way just because I've been, you know, I've been out and I haven't been home. But once I get home, I'm updating it with a few more of those lifetime students, which is nice. But yeah, this is how I do it. So it shows their payments for everything. And then it shows everything that they've got shows their payment plan, shows their program end date, enroll, and their name.
For sure.
Yeah, and you guys also have very similar. It's in the master tracker if you guys want to check that out. Here's a little template of what it looks like. It's the AR inside here. So again, you have your dates, you have all your stuff over here. If you go to AR, what I did is I usually after someone signed a agreement, we would have a zap that would just zap their name and email over here and then the total amount. So all this would pre-populate and then we just go in here and do it. This works until you're doing about probably like 50-ish K a month. And then after that, we upgraded ours to monday.com. There is, if you guys check out the masterclass on staying organized, which is probably my favorite masterclass I've ever done, it'll break down like how we have that created in there. So if you want to check that out to see how we use monday.com, that works. But up to 50K a month, you guys could easily just use this, and it's even broken down with like in progress, payment completed, payment overdue. And like if someone was completed, I just come through here and just make it green. If they're overdue, make it red, whatever it is. You can play around with it and stuff like that. But point being is just have like where people owe you money, have some sort of accounts receivable so you can keep track of that stuff.
Yeah. And then Justin, I was gonna ask you as well too. I'm almost halfway through the program, but so far, like when do you think it's a good time to like transition to like, you know how like there's two ways to do it, like you just go straight to, if someone DMs you, you go straight to getting them the book a call, or the other one is like you give them the free mini course and then you get them the book a call. Like when do you think like you should like try to test out the free mini course, or that should be the first one you test out because of that 6 hour of content consumption rule?
Good question, man. I think it really depends on your industry. Like for us, when someone opts in for our free mini course, they have so many options to book a call, right? Like if you go to my Instagram page, like my link in my bio is getting people to book a call. So a lot of times people check that out. The other thing is when they get my free mini course, it takes them to a video that before they even can download my mini course or anything, it says, hey, watch this video if you want to make 50K months. And then it's a video of me saying, hey, if you just want the free course, it's down below. Just click that link. But if not, then apply now and book a call. So they have all, like we get a lot of people that book calls before they even speak to us just from that. So definitely go through that funnels inside the high level if you guys want that, like the screenshots or the snapshots. But also you can just go reverse your way back of like how you got into our funnel and just like look at some of those links. But I always like the free mini course giveaway because like you said, it's like you're getting people content. And the biggest thing right now is people just, there's hard, especially with like all this stuff going on with crypto, like you guys saw with FTX going down, like people are getting more and more skeptical every single day. So how do you build trust? Well, you give them stuff, you give them free information, stuff that they didn't expect to have in the first place, and show them that you're a real person. And whenever someone's through a call, like it's crazy. Like if I do this sometimes just to get my setters back on track, because sometimes they get lazy, I'll go in there and I'll just book a call myself and I'll show them how easy it is. Like a couple of weeks ago when they had that little slip up, I went in there on my way back from the gym because I was pissed off because I was spending like $700 a day and they weren't booking anything. And I just went in there and just booked a call myself and showed them a screenshot. And I booked it within literally like 3 minutes of me driving back from the gym. And I was like, yo, like you guys should be able to do this yourself every single day. So I know that was a little bit of a tangent, but did that kind of answer your question?
No, that was good. That was really, really good. I appreciate it. I gotta move faster because I gotta get to that part in the up level. I think that sounds good. And then in your ads, you literally say, DM me this word for free mini course, right? Or
yeah. You don't even have to use, we're getting away from saying a certain word now, just because on the back end, you can test. So for example, now it's like, hey, if you're interested, just message me. And then what I'm doing is I'm testing using that ad with different interests, and I'm using a keyword for each one so I can see which interest.
But he's so smart. How many people?
Which interest they're coming from.
Okay. Sorry, the last part one more time because I lost.
Yeah, you're good. So I'm using one, like let's say my new ad I created, it's like, hey, message me for my free mini course and I'll send it over. Like I say, message me. And then in the ad, I can put in there for each interest a different keyword. So for entrepreneurship, it could be keyword more info or whatever it is, right? Like you can get creative with it, or it could be like new ad 1, new ad 2, new ad 3. It's not that big of a deal, but it's an easier way to track on the inside.
I like that a lot better. That's cool. Instead of saying the word is just like there, and then in the ad, the button that says send is like different. So that way it's easier to track, right?
Yeah.
And you can do that same way instead of with the regular ads when you test in like different interests and quality. That'll probably be easier than like adding like, oh yeah, AIA plus or AIA.
Yeah, that's an easy way to like test to see if your interests are actually good. Is it's a little bit more work on the back end, but like, and this goes for everybody. If you're not having, if you're looking at your leads and every single person is bad quality, what I would do is exactly what I said right there, is test like a keyword for the interest so you can see, and then just keep rapidly testing until you find, because you're going to get quality that comes through at some point. Like it's inevitable, right? Like you could have a terrible ad, but it might appeal to somebody that is quality in your eyes, right? So like that's the way that I would really go for it, is just like get really granular on where people are coming from, if like that's the main thing.
Yeah.
And if I know,
I like that.
One thing that I want you to know, Jay, we are Black, and when we make ads, we are probably going to attract people that are the same the same race as us, and typically that screws us over. And I see Brian over here nodding his head too. It screws us over, bro. I mean, I haven't had a single like white lead, and I know that this probably doesn't happen with like Justin, but dude, it's tough. So what I would say is make sure that in your ads and in your in your ad copies, you're trying to be as like formal as you possibly can, just because like Black people don't typically have as much money as, as somebody who's white, and so I try to do my best to like advertise towards like people that are more formal, people that are business owners, people that are software engineers, because those typically aren't Chicago rappers, like I said before. So that's one thing.
Yeah, that's really
our businesses are different, man. We were not,
Dude, it's funny you say that. What I used to, so I have my friend, I said, bro, let's make an ad together. And I say the exact words. And he's white. And I used him to say the exact word for the ads. And then we did a test, and it's like the same thing happened. We have better quality leads when he was like that. And then that. So I've been doing like strategic things like that. And the formal thing as well too. Someone told me what you just said about the formal, like dress more formal and like, try to be like that as well.
It's tough, man. I mean, we're, somehow Facebook sets us up for failure immediately. But if you're Black or a person of color at all, just be sure that when you're speaking, you're trying your hardest to like articulate, and people think that you're educated, because then if you sound not educated, you're going to get a lot of not educated people. Like what you say matters so much in an ad, because if you say like, hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy. You're going to get so many people that sound just like that. No one is going to have any money. They're going to be broke. The one thing is, and Justin has this in another sense, where he attracted just a bunch of gay dudes because he had like his shirt off. Like no matter what happens, like Facebook, they look really, really in depth to your ads.
It's crazy, man. And it's scary because like what you're saying there, like how they're like going through and finding gay people. Like if you have like a shirt off or something, it's like gay people won't even come out and admit it. But like Facebook knows. Like I'm not like whatever. If anyone's on here, I don't care. But I'm saying like Facebook knows that's more about you than you know about yourself. And that's the thing you really got to realize is like your ads are attracting like the type of people, like you got to be careful with like what you say and how you act. And like even with our ad, like with the one with my hat, that's the one where we get the most hood people from, but we still get the quality on there, so it evens out. The other thing that I've realized with that, a little nug for you, and then we'll jump into Jackson's and we got to hop off, is if you are getting negative comments on your ads, don't engage back and start like, talking shit with them and having fun with it. Because I made that mistake, because sometimes it's just fun when I'm bored or when I'm like in between a set, just talking shit to someone. It's like, yo, like, don't you have anything better to do with your life? Facebook will pick up more of that because they think those people are who you want because you're engaging with them. So what I've done is I've started deleting all of those comments, anyone that talks shit or anything that's just not my ideal client. And we've noticed an increase in quality too.
All right. Thanks. Thanks, y'all. Thank you guys. Appreciate
Yep.
it.
Jackson, got you, then we got to run, bro.
Well, I'll be quick. So, real quick on your lead magnet, do you find you book more appointments from them actually just coming in and then they go through your VSL and fill out the form, or it's like a combination of that with the DMs, right? Like where do you find most of your leads booked from?
The better quality is through the DMs. We usually cancel people that come from just the ad unless they're like really high quality, because again, it kind of goes back to that rule of you want them to be familiar with you and have trust. So the best way to do that is have a conversation with them. So even if they do that, we'll still reach out and be like, hey, just want to confirm, I saw that you booked, just want to make sure everything's good to go. And like my setters will go through there and actually check out their profile and make sure that they're legit. But I'd say about 50% of those people get canceled.
Oh, so basically, so someone DMs you, you send them a link to this VSL. That VSL takes them from the VSL through a lead form that then gives them the opportunity to book. Then you go pre-vet them. If they're not worth talking to, you cancel. If they are worth talking to, you just keep it, basically.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And then regardless of whether or not they book on there, you're also pre-qualifying / booking them through the DMs.
Correct.
Got it.
Sir.
Yeah, I think it would be super cool if I like could do something for people of color or people like minorities, because we have a completely different process, bro. Completely different process. Because it's strange. Dustin and Jackson running the same ad that we run, and we'll get horrible quality. It's super strange. I don't know how to explain it other than Facebook. They they think that we're trying to target Black people because we are Black. It's really strange, but
When diversity and inclusion goes too far,
for real,
the algorithm is now subtly racist, and you're like, the fuck.
Yeah, well, that's the world we live in, guys. Like, it's Facebook's just too, it's like that. Facebook's like that kid in school that was too smart for their own good that always got in trouble. Like, that's how Facebook is. Like, so keep it simple. But good call today, guys. And Zach just asked a question. I'll answer this and we'll jump off. Is giving something free better than CTA, or is it similar results? It's when you give something away for free, it's easier to collect an email address is what I like, and it's easier to start a conversation. But CTAs are usually higher cost, but usually better quality. That's the way I look at it. And the way I look at it as well is like, if something's working and you're getting like at least a 1 to 2 based off of what you're putting into Facebook, and a 2x return on ad spend, that's something I would scale. So like, that's what I'd look for. Sean, are you giving away something for free, or is it a straight call to action?
I hate giving away free things. The moment that you give away something for free, people only come in because they want something for free, and they typically don't have as much money. So the moment you say the word free in an ad, like we said before, Facebook's like, free? All right, this guy that's broke, pair them together. And then the people that come in, they're like, I'm poor, I want free stuff. And then the moment you try to pitch them anything, get them on a call, like, it doesn't really matter. They just don't have any money. So I do CTA. And the CTA that I do is basically, I say, like, if you are working in X industry and you are trying to like supplement your income or replace your income, that brings people that are like, hey, I am a software engineer, I actually am looking to supplement my income, instead of, hey, I'm giving away something for free. And then, they really, you could do it if your audience is very, very, not poor, but mine is extremely bad. So I have to make sure that I'm doing CTA. But it's a different perspective for sure.
Yeah. Well, there you go, guys. Great call today. This call will be uploaded. Sean, thank you for coming on and sharing your insight, man. Cheers, you guys. Let's have a big holiday and keep your foot on the gas as we go through this.
All right. Thank you guys.
There it is.